I already know it. I know we about to shine, cause we already glowing. To get all this.
Welcome to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an instant classic.
And your
and we want to punch Jim Cornette in the face repeatedly until he bleeds because he's stupid. We'll see you on the flippity dippity. Oh yeah.
Don't get mad, I'm just really trying to get a kiss.
What is going on, everybody? It's time for your TNA Impact Wrestling review that I thought was going to happen yesterday, and then my internet was like, nah, bruh, not today. So, we was going to try to do it yesterday. That was the goal. And then my internet was just not having it, so it like cut off. But you know that weird point where it's still connected, but it's like, I don't know. It's like it's still connected to the internet, but then it says not connected on the bottom, and you're like, how you gonna connect but not connect, and then connect, and then the connection. But anyway, we here with special guest Rabbit Jones, and real quick, Rabbit. First off, where the TNA talks been on the channel? That's what I've been waiting on. Number two, what do you think of Slammiversary? Because we tried to get you on Slammiversary and it just didn't happen. Or last week's show.
Now, Slammiversary was nice. I love Slammiversary. I tried to get on that joint with you and talk about that joint, but that was nice, yeah. I don't know. Y'all had the big screen thing on there with the Slammiversary joint, didn't you?
Yeah,
I see that.
Trying to green screen out,
Yeah.
Trying.
Last week joint was all right. You know how they do the hard hitting matches almost every week. So you basically get that regardless. And I'm gonna do some more TNA talk joints. I've been a little bit busy doing little things here and there, but I'm bringing them joints back.
Word. I'm ready. I'm excited. Casey, you had something to say. What you want?
Now, I was just wondering if we were gonna get into the TNA review when you was talking about the internet and not being connected to the internet. You were kind of going off on a rant, similar to rants that I used to go off on. So I don't want to start.
Used to. It's still like a daily video thing that you go off on these certain rants on this certain superstar that like you certainly don't like.
It's like every other day. Like, it's bi-weekly. Fuck you, Cena.
All right, let's jump into the review. We start off with a video package on the Hardys, and I was going to say Hardys Revenge. I really wanted to. The Hardys and the Hardys Revenge. Hardys Revenge. This is part 3 of Hardys Revenge. I want a DVD series of Hardys Revenge, in my personal opinion. I mean, I want it to be in my next blue bag special. I want them to throw it in there with that, I think we need a series of this. Any thoughts on that video package? I definitely liked it, but I don't know if it was anything special to y'all. Got us hyped up for the match and whatnot. That's about it. Anything?
I like when you say Brother Nero. Brother Nero.
Brother Nero, he says something else that always gets me. Never. He always uses that instead of never. He's like never.
I like his look too. I like the way he switches his look up.
Yeah, it's a very much good attention to detail. A lot of times you see heel turns and they don't change anything, and then this one they completely changed everything, and like the internet blew up, and they were like, "Oh my God, this is so stupid." Anyway, Casey, any thoughts on the video package before we jump into the first segment of the show?
I just like the feud, how it's going in general. Like I've said the past couple weeks, they're doing this feud a lot better than WWE did when they did a Matt versus Jeff feud. I like the broken Matt Hardy. I still kind of want him to do a broken Jeff too. So we can have Brother Nero versus Brother Moore. I just liked what they're doing with it. Hopefully they keep it going and it doesn't get stale. But I think they can do enough with it where it's not going to get stale as long as they don't drag it out too long. But then again, it's TNA and they do that with certain things like factions that they've had in the past. that kept going. Sorry.
Alrighty. So next, we started out the show with Galloway, calling out EC3 because he was like, "There's only one man, that's the main reason for why I didn't, I'm not the world champion anymore." And he calls out EC3, and Galloway, he says, I'm not gonna blame you. I just want to fight you. So we're gonna get a fight. We're gonna get a fight to get the fisticuffs going. And I like this though because as they started talking, you could see the similar stories in the feud. Like in this feud that's just starting, you could see like that they both have similar stories. Obviously we know their WWE past and they weren't used correctly, they weren't used properly. Then they come to TNA and they get that story going, and then you also have the story of them losing the world title and then being angry about losing the world title. And also losing their rematches. So you got similar stories in this same particular feud from different points of view. Galloway claims that EC3 has been, I'm just gonna say, kissing that booty. Kissing that booty. And they square off, but then Lashley comes out, and I'm just wondering, where did Lashley find like charisma? Like I think it was under the table with the New Day. I think Justin hit it under there. He hit it under the table with the New Day because Lashley has become more charismatic as he's become this champion, especially in this second run. The first one not so much, but he's joking around and laughing and freaking like he just seems more comfortable to me. In my personal opinion, he seems more comfortable. But he tries to throw the he says, quote, "Drew, I like how you're throwing blames around like I was throwing you around last week." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
good day."
I love it.
I mean, the man's spitting gold at this point. But Lashley says, that EC3 and Galloway. He says, I'm gonna change it up a little bit. You guys should just, guys should tag team together because he's thinking he's got this smart thinking coming out. He says y'all should tag team together to see if y'all deserve a shot. And then we get Eli Drake. He comes out and he wants to take this opportunity. He says, how about we do the Dream Team versus Dummy, yeah, and Dummy, yeah. So I really like that. And I like that Eli Drake is kind of putting himself into the world title picture, as being the King of the Mountain champion. He feels like he's like, 1A to the world champion. I like that. Casey, you are glaring at me right now because I said Lashley had charisma. So please tell me he's boring. Tell me he can't work, even though he's doing the best work of his career, and his charisma has grown over the past 2 weeks. But go ahead, just tell me that. Go ahead.
Let's go drink this drink. I'll admit, whenever he's talking, there he is. I tend to mute the TV, and then what I do is I go to YouTube and I type in paint drying because I'd rather watch paint dry than listen to that man. But we got Eli Drake, which is good. Anytime you have Eli Drake, yeah, it's always a good thing. I liked I like Drew Galloway and EC3. I like how they kind of work off each other with promos and stuff. That was definitely a good thing. It felt like there was a different dynamic between them tonight. It wasn't just. It felt like there was sort of, I guess, I don't want to say friendship, but like mutual respect tonight. It didn't feel like tension until they started saying they were going to fight. It seemed different, which is always a good thing, especially with an opening segment, because opening segments in wrestling, they're usually not that good. But I liked it.
All right, Rabbit. Tell him about our world champion.
But I like the promo with Galloway and EC3. Only thing I don't like about the way they doing it is, okay, both of them supposed to be good. Now you switched EC3 good, but you took most of the EC3 personality away, so that now he's not really an asshole. Like he's not funny no more. when he used to come on there and he talk about somebody and had these funny lines. He don't have those no more. So he going up against Galloway. They going back and forth, mic to mic, and there's nothing funny in that. You know what I'm saying? You know what? At first he used to talk all the time. When him and Spud and everybody was there, everything came out of his mouth was funny. Because he was more of a prick, a rich prick. You know what I'm saying? So everything he was talking down to people. So now he looking at people, kind of talking like, I look up to you type talking. You know what I'm saying? You're a good wrestler type talking. It's a complete 180 from his personality. So it takes away from the person that you grew to love. You can't tell me that's the same person right there. And that right there, talking to Drew Galloway, you can't tell me that's the same person you fell in love with, the EC3 right there. That's not the one right there at all. Then when my man came out, he did get a little funny joint when he called him 8-ball. He called him man 8-ball. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of stuff. He used to have a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? And when he flung that out there, it went over everybody's head. But he usually call ball head people cue ball. But he black, so he called him 8-ball. The show was funny. And the only person that got that joint was my man Lashley. Lashley got that on the break. Oh yeah, that was cute. That was funny. I was in this joint laughing like that wasn't laughing. He called him 8-ball. That was funny. But I like that whole thing. That was funny. I like that.
Oh yeah, I definitely enjoyed the opening segment. Set up a nice little tag team match: Eli, Drake, and Lashley versus EC3 and Galloway. And I really like the booking of Eli Drake as the King of the Mountain champion, especially in this regard, because it really makes me feel like, from a believability standpoint, that Eli Drake could challenge Lashley and maybe even, stay up there with him. If not beat him, stay up there with him. And I actually like that, because a lot of times you don't see that with the other titles. You don't see that title importance, especially with this newer title. But I thought this match was, it was a really good match for a opening tag team match. Galloway and EC3 were just throwing Eli Drake around. Like, I think they were playing a little one-upsmanship a little bit, and they kind of, they kind of got off of each other a little bit because, they were having this miscommunication throughout the match. And I like how they still, I think, and this is just maybe just my opinion, but a lot of times in the back of my head, I always think back to the Drew Galloway and Eli Drake feud when I see them in the ring together. I don't know what it was. I don't know if I think it's like I want more from that feud too. And it's making me think, when is this going to, come back to a head again? But I definitely like it when they're in the ring together. Eli Drake with that beautiful power slam for 2. I loved it. Eli Drake was doing some of the greatest cutting off tag jobs I've ever seen in my life. Like he might be better than a tag team wrestler in general. Like I love how like he would get knocked down and still cut off the tag. I just thought that was really cool, because a lot of times when you're booked in a way where you get knocked down and there's the tag, but there was a lot of times where they didn't even make the tag because Eli Drake was just good with the tag team game. I definitely like that. The match breaks down. Eli Drake, not Eli Drake, but Drew Galloway and EC3, they get into it, but then Galloway ends up getting the pin. So obviously they're gonna face Lashley at some point, but it's kind of it's at Lashley's discretion whenever Lashley wants to do it. But any thoughts on the tag team match, Rabbit?
Yeah, I like this match. This was a good, fluid, stiff match. Like you said, Eli Drake, he was doing some nice, stiff moves in this match right here, man. He kind of stood out in this match out of everybody. But when you say you think he'll have competition against Lashley, I don't know what you're talking about. Now you get carried away.
See, I saw that. I saw it over there. I was like,
that's a little too much. I can't see him doing anything at all with Lashley. At all. Not even a little bit. Right now, I think Lashley will keep this belt through the rest of this year. There's nobody on this roster except for Tyrus. I say Tyrus. Maybe let a few with Tyrus here and there. But other than that, there's nobody on this roster that should be taking that belt off him. Not anybody on the roster. They don't flip the roster around. Rue gone. I mean, who supposed to be winning his belt off last?
The only one I could see,
believe
right now, as much as I want to, but as far as like from a fighting standpoint, I think it would be Galloway. Now Galloway has lost to him, but Galloway is such a brawler and such, he's from the UK, so he's a brawler. He's such a brawler and so aggressive that I think he actually could.
You heard what Lashley said? I'm gonna stew you around like I did last week. Hey, punch that shit, man. Hey, and that's another thing I want to touch on too. Back when I was telling you about Lashley when he was with my man when he was in the group, the
MVP.
BDC.
Yeah.
When he wasn't really talking that much, when I used to say, if he could just talk like my man, he'd be MVP. He'd be the shit, right? His mic ain't close to the MVP at all. MVP was like the Jordan of mic work. My man done worked on his mic work, man. He was saying some nice lines and he ain't fumbled nothing this time either. So, but Eli Drake came out there and took it to another level. It showed you the difference of mic work. Because you could tell Bobby Lashley was getting better, but once Eli Drake came out, you could see that he got a long way to go. You know what I'm saying? You see the difference. But it's better than what it used to be. And put that with his wrestling and he got the sky's the limit if he work on that mic.
Oh yeah. Alrighty. So, Casey, thoughts on the tag team match?
I thought it was pretty good. I was more into it because of the stipulation. You know, if Lashley's team won and Eli Drake gets, to be the #1 contender, I was excited about it. I part of me knew it wasn't going to happen, just because they always kind of put that out there for you, so you think it's going to happen and then it's not. But yeah, the only two that I can really see. Well, there's really only one, and for me, I agree with DJ. It would be Drew, but the only reason I don't say Tyrus is because they've kind of teased pushing Tyrus, but it feels like they either don't trust him or they don't think the fans are going to take him seriously, because I feel like to a point you still can't, just because still in a way too similar to his, when he was in WWE. I think they need to change him a little bit more, make him a little bit more, just give him more, get him on TV more, get him by himself more. Not necessarily on the mic, because I don't think he would really need mic skills that much. But just kind of make us believe, him being a serious wrestler and a serious, superstar on his own, not somebody's, bodyguard, not somebody's tag team partner, just him. And I think that needs to kind of be built up a little bit more before we really believe that he can, beat Lashley for the title. I think he could, but you have to have that believability in there. But
wait, you don't remember when him and Lashley had those matches, those series of matches, right?
yeah,
They had some nice matches. One man Lashley had him over top of his head. And man like 8 feet tall, 600 pounds. Man, he ain't no small youngin. He's a big youngin, man. So that whole match was so athletic because you had two big people, especially Tyrus. Tyrus can move for his size, man. So they athletic to be that big. I ain't know he was that athletic, so he can move. So like when he had him shaking up the ring one time. Remember they had the structure over top. He shook everybody off the joint and all that. So they try to push him a little bit to show that he's strong at it. So him and Lashley feud can be something good if you, like you said, they build him up a little bit more, give him more of a character. You're right.
Alrighty. So, next we get a nice little, decay backstage segment. Both Crazy Steve, they want to know, who is this person? Because Rosemary just wants them to trust. Just trust her. And, Abyss wants to make sure that this person is beautiful. Steve wants to make sure that they're sadistic enough, for this. For, the decay. But, Rosemary just says, just trust me. Just trust me. And while we're on the decay segment, let's just go ahead and jump down to it. The decay, they were getting a new member. And I was, Bram comes out, like Bram's music hits. And I'm like, it's Bram? And then I was a little confused. And then Bram came out, and he was like, where am I? You know, like where am I? And I was still a little confused because I'm like, because last week, from what I remember, it sounded like Rosemary had already talked to Bram about it. Now, obviously, in Rosemary's character, her talking to him about it doesn't necessarily mean she talked to him about it. Like that could be her talking to herself about it and psyching herself into it more than anything. So I had to think about it in that regard as well. But I like this segment. Bram did look lost. Rosemary, she was like, you are lost. You lost your title. You've lost a lot of friends, but all you need to do is decay. And then Bram says, I don't need anybody. Sorry, I'm not even going to try it. Bram says he doesn't need anybody. He says he doesn't need anybody. And Rosemary says, that's not the answer we were looking for. Bram! She hit that Bram real hard. That's not the answer we were looking for. Gets hit with the mist to the face and gets beat down. I kind of wish the beatdown was a little bit more, just because it didn't seem like they left him laying. And I don't know if that was a mind game thing where they took him out just enough where he still knows what's going on, but he's a little out of it. But I like the segment though. I'm wondering what they're starting with this, because I was thinking maybe they start a tag team title feud, but Bram doesn't have a partner. So then I'm thinking, if is there going to be something where either Bram gets a partner or there's a new member of the Decay coming in, and it's going to be maybe a debut or something. A new member of the Decay coming in. No, Casey. A new member of the Decay coming in, and then he feuds with Bram. So I'm kind of wondering about that. But anyway, any thoughts on the Decay potentially getting a new member, Rabbit?
Yeah. I let you know now, I love the Decay. I love the way my man Vince done switched up. I look like, what, he got, bed or something right here? He just look like a bozo out there joint, a homeless
But
dude.
would you say that he is beautiful? I just need to know.
He done switch it up good. I like the way he switched that up right there. He just looks like a maniac. But I'm gonna tell you what I think they're going with this. I think Brian about to join them. They gonna force him. The next thing you know, he gonna come out with the paint and all that stuff. Remember, he was talking about she kind of sexy and all that stuff in her kind of way. It's like, you kind of sexy in your with the makeup in your way. You know what I'm saying? So in a way, he was kind of thinking about this stuff, but they got forced it on to him like they did. So I guess a couple of weeks will pass. He gonna come out eventually. He gonna fight it for a couple of weeks, but I think eventually he gonna come out and be with them. That's what I think. And honestly, I think it's a good move for Bram, because right now he's kind of floating around right now. He might can be lost because they gave Eli Drake the belt. You got the X Division title on my man. So right now he got a space where he can fall off the map. So right now, if he can join them and play that role right, he can find himself on TV more and more for the next year, rather than falling off the face of the map, because there's nowhere to put him right now. That's why groups are really important in professional wrestling, because most wrestlers don't have anything to do at the point in time. At time that storylines are involving and stuff, and some people just don't have anything to do with it, like 6 months at a time. So when you have them in groups, they can be standing in the background and just pushing whatever the group is. And by that time, when you can get them back into something, then you can put them in something. You know what I'm saying? That's how most groups are for, basically. When people get mad at all the groups here and groups here, most groups are that have people sit there and wait or learn on the job. That's what most of the groups are for. But I think Brand will join them.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Decay even take over, even have all the titles. I know a lot of people don't like that, but if WWE is not going to give it to me with the Wyatt family, then I need it to happen with the Decay, because they have Rosemary. They have the tag team, but I don't know if they would grow enough for that to happen. But I think that would be kind of cool. But Casey, any thoughts?
Oh, don't you worry, we are taking over. We're taking over TNA. See, first of all, I don't.
Wait. You like Decay?
Well, I have to. I'm married to Rosemary, so I'm very into it. I don't like how Bram calling my wife sexy and how she's touching on him. I don't like that. But this was just a swerve, because I'm going to be the next member of the Decay. But I don't know. I just didn't like that it was supposedly Bram. I kind of wanted it to be somebody new.
Jimmy Havoc. Oh goodness, that hit me a little bit.
That's what I was thinking. I want them to bring Jimmy Havoc back because they started something with that, and it felt like they were actually going to do a storyline, and then out of nowhere he's gone. I think that could definitely, because he would sort of fit that kind of mold in a way. I think that would be something that would be cool. But I don't know.
Maybe,
Are they
maybe now maybe that's who this new member was. Remember I talked about a new member? Maybe that would be perfect because then they built it up a little bit to where like he's like he's made for the Decay. He's similar to them. So maybe all along he was a member of the Decay. Maybe they could do that. I don't know if he's still on the roster or not, but I know sometimes that happens where like take him away from TV for a while just to bring him back, kind of like Marty Bill.
I don't think he is. I looked on his Wikipedia and it says 2016 in parentheses, which usually means he was just in there for a little while. But I don't know. It's just gonna be weird because for one, I can't see Bram with like face paint. Like I feel like it doesn't fit him. And that without it, it's not the Decay. They have and I mean, he's a good-looking guy. I get it. He has some issues. Just ask Charlotte. Just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. But I don't think he's beautiful. I don't think that he's beautiful.
Alrighty. Well, let's go back real quick and go to Galloway and Lashley. In this segment, this is when I really, I was really thinking, man, Lashley is getting good with the words. He sounds like I thought he sounded tough during his first title run, but like he sounds even tougher now. Like he sounds more comfortable in that I'm a tough guy. Ooh, I'm big. Ooh,
Yeah.
he sounds even like
Oh
tougher.
no, they just choke both of y'all out.
Yeah, like I just like that.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. I'm loving Lashley as and as the heel champion that like I think we've always wanted to see that MMA guy because he no, he's not a star by any means, but he's pretty good from what I've seen. He's pretty good. And I feel like that's a good heel to me. That's a good heel, like someone who comes from MMA because that's what real MMA fighters feel like. They're like, I can really beat up these pro wrestling like fake, all of that stuff. They really feel that way. Ask Dana White. But I I'm really liking Lashley right now. He had this segment with Galloway, and then if I'm not mistaken, he had another segment with EC3 a little bit later. If I'm not mistaken, kind of put in the back of his head that he's playing all the cards are in his hand. He's the champion. The cards are in his hand. He can do what he wants to a certain degree. But Casey has something like that's burning, like it's burning in his soul. So I'm gonna let him go first.
I mean, I just don't see it. I would still let that man babysit my kids because he just seems like he's a nice guy.
But it's a little bit different
I
to
don't.
actually listen to it. Like, cause Casey, you're to me, and I've worked with you for a little bit now. You're the type that once someone like isn't the style of person or isn't the style of wrestler, or you just don't like the wrestler, you won't give him a second chance. You just won't. Like, I mean, I've been around you enough to know, like, once someone like rubs you the wrong way from a wrestling perspective, no more. No more on Casey's side.
I mean, is that somewhere similar to Michael Tarver?
That's one man I just can't. But the issue is he hasn't had a second chance for me to give him a second chance, right? Like there's been no second chance. Cause he's trash. He's trash. Anyway, Rabbit, any thoughts on Lashley? He's getting good with the works. He is.
Man, just like I was saying earlier, that he working on his mic skills. You need to bring those up. Once he get that, I don't know, man. He nasty.
I agree. I would even say he's a destroyer. Yes, Casey.
What you said, sir, DJ, is not exactly true. I have given Bo Dallas a second chance. I love the Bo train. I love it. Okay? Don't you dare say I don't give people second chance.
All right. Next, we had Marty Bell versus Marty Bell. My goal is to get her on the show. Marty Bell versus Jade. Oh man. This match was good. I liked it because I liked the feud more than anything. Like, I think it's a lot easier to tell a story in a match when there's something that you can lend that story to. And there's already a backstory to this, and I like it a lot. Marty comes out with that little baton thing that she's just hitting people with. And I just really like that. Jade was, began this match kind of on the chase. And once Jade gets you down and starts throwing some forearms, get out of the way. Just move. Like you need to take your head and just move it away from that, because she does not play with those forearms. My God, like, she is so stiff with those forearms. I love it. Jade grabs the baton, but then Hebner's like, you can't do that. I am Earl Hebner. I am a senior official. You won't use this in my match. And she puts it down, and then you should have known it was gonna get used at that point, because you can't bring it in. You can't bring it in and not expect it to be used. Marty with a nice bicycle kick, and then freaking one heck of a slap. Like, it was, this was almost to the point of Dixie's woman slap. We talked about it last week, the woman slap back in the old WWE games, the old wrestling games. The woman used to have one move, and it was a slap, and she used to slap, and it was over. It was over. It was like that. The electric chair facebuster on the apron was, it was beautiful. And then Marty catches Jade with a shot with that baton and ends up winning. And Earl got knocked down. I don't know what happened to Earl. I don't know what happened to him, but he just started tripping. Like, I don't know what happened. I think he saw his girl in the front row, and he was like, "Oh, what's up?" Oh, and started tripping a little, got a little nervous. I don't know, but I just saw him falling down. Like, he was tumbling, and I was cracking up. Because the sales that have been taking the refs out of these matches have been hilarious. But these TNA refs, they only got 3 of them, but they the truth. They the truth, man. But anyway, Rabbit, any thoughts on Marty Bell? Marty Bell versus Jade. Marty Bell versus then you got Jade too. Anyway.
Yeah, every time I look at these two, you know who I think of? Taryn Terrell. But I'm gonna tell you, Jay, you already know Jay can wrestle off the break. She can do everything. In this match right here, she was hitting Young with gut-rich joints. She was picking Young off the mat, taking over top of her head, just off strength, just brute strength. Young and vicious. But Marty Bell, she can be a star too now. But she cannot. She's getting better though. She's just not good at improvising. First of all, you know how you got to improvise on moves once mistake made. Once a mistake made with her, it's made. It's over. That mistake, everybody can see it from that point on. She don't know how to massage it at all. She need to work on that. And then on her when she getting slapped around and stuff, she don't know how to roll with that either, the right way. See, when Younger hit him with her forearms in that match, in her chest right here, Younger wasn't going back or none of that. You see what I'm saying? You got to go with whatever coming at you. You can't be sitting there and Younger hit you with 3 of these to your chest and you standing there. You can't do that. You gotta go back some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? So other than that, the match was stiff and it was going smooth. It wasn't no botching. That's one thing I ain't like about Marty Bell. She botched a whole lot. She constantly botched, but I ain't see no botching in this match, so I give her credit. I gotta give her credit when it's due. But I'm a rag on you anytime you get the botching now. But obviously, she's been working on that. There's a lot of people I know that's been working on things too. Her and Lashley and Spud. A lot of people been working on little things that I know.
We gonna get in the Spud. Oh my god,
I like it. But that match was good. I like that match. I like Jade and Marty Bell. I like both of them. The future, I like their future.
Spud got me excited tonight. Casey.
Well, Jade in them pants. And the match. Yeah. No, I like this match. I like, they seem to kind of work well together. I think they've worked together too in the Indies too, so that kind of helps when you've worked together before getting to a kind of a bigger company. I like the storyline. I like that they're actually kind of using a storyline. They're not just like TNA sometimes does, where they just throw two people together and throw out a bullshit storyline, and we're supposed to believe it. They're actually using, stuff that has actually happened, with the dollhouse and how Jade became the Knockouts champion and basically, forgot about Marty Bell, stuff like that. I like how they're actually doing that and building up tension between the two and building up this feud. I hope they keep it going. I would definitely. This is one of those feuds that I would like to see a series. I would love to see it. Build up to pay-per-view. But I definitely like it.
I gotta give the credit whoever doing the writing on it and doing the booking. You gotta give them credit because 2 months ago you had two major pieces of the puzzle leave. You had Kong, turn Terrell just up and run out the joint in the middle of storylines. That's tough to redo that, bring people in, and they kind of done that real smooth. I gotta give them credit on that, cause that take time to rebuild after lose, and you lost Brooke, so you really lost a big chunk of your roster that was really good. So for them, and they was in storylines, all three of them. So for them to revamp, for everybody in storyline, bring new people in, they did a nice job with the knockouts with that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm definitely liking it. Next we got kind of some deja vu. It felt like a little bit here. The Miracle, and as my boy Billy Corgan calls him, MKB, and MKB. I like it. Calling out Dixie again. And I bet you Casey, caught this when he was watching it. But Dixie said to look into her eyes. She told me, and I did. I made sure to, because anytime somebody said it, I got to. Maria wants an apology, and she wants Dixie to step down as president. And I like Billy Corgan kind of being. I don't know if he's like the voice of reason, or if he's like just a different voice, right? And I like how he's kind of stepping in the middle of everything, and saying the Dixie needs to take a leave of absence for about a week, and then Bennett says, I want that world title, I just need a chance, and he wants an X Division Championship match, and and Billy Corgan hit him with a little bit of the 1-2 punch too with the word. He said, the last time I remember you were losing in here. He was talking to him about how he got to win, to be successful or whatever. And I was like, okay, Billy, I see you. He hit him with the 1-2 punch with the words, and I liked it. But Bennett does get his X Division Championship match because him and Corgan are, kind of working together a little bit. And I like this segment because it has a glimpse of, like, reality in it. Because you hear a lot of people talking about how Dixie needs to, step down and Dixie doesn't need to be in charge. So they bring in this new guy, Billy William, as Josh Matthews says he likes to be called. Never heard that, but, apparently he likes to be called William. William Corgan comes in, and, he's kind of being that different voice, kind of that voice of the fans, like we were talking about earlier. And I don't know, I just kind of like this. It hits on all the, like, things that I guess the guy on the internet who doesn't like reviews says that he hits on the keyboard warriors and the TNA haters a little bit with this storyline. I kind of like it. But Rabbit, any thoughts on MKB, the Miracle, or my boy William Court?
First of all, I can't stand Merkel. It's terrible. But this segment right here, I mean, I like the idea of this segment, but this whole segment was just complete trash to me, man. It was, first of all, anytime that Dixie is the best mic worker in the joint, we got a problem. We got a serious problem right here. We got that many people in the ring, and she one of the best ones in there. I say the other female, she's nice on the mic too. But these two on the side, I don't know what was going on with Billy Corgan on the side. He was turning red, and then it was like he had his head down talking. It was like he don't know what is going on right there? That whole thing just looked odd to me. Then she gonna burl out, you should step down. It was like, what? That sounded stupid. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, where'd that come from? You can't tell her. That sounds dumb. And she said it where she meant it. You know what I'm saying? It was just dumb. And then he gonna step in and say, yeah, you should step out for a week. Like, what? So that whole thing was just dumb. All they did was rush to show that he about to turn on Dixie, right? So it's like a rush segment to show that he about to turn on her and let her sit back and let her run it for a while and let her sit in the back. That's all he was about to happen. But the way this just went off, it just wasn't. It just seemed stupid. Then he gonna turn to them and say, you know what? We text all the time, right? You gonna turn to Miracle? We text all the time, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? It just was dumb. That whole thing was dumb. Either you with them and you want to get them a title match or whatever you doing, or you trying to stab Dixie in the back. It's either one of those two. I don't know what's going on here, but you could tell that they're trying to pull Dixie out for a minute and let him just be the person on the mic for a while. That's what's happening. But the way, I don't think he's ready to be on the mic. With Billy, William, whatever the fuck you want to call him, I don't think he's ready. What makes me mad is the man is famous off being a rock star, right? And he get in front of a crowd that's smaller than the crowds that he sing in front of, and he act like he just started in the wrestling business when he step out there. He green is the background y'all got, you know? I'm like, what is going on here? It's terrible, man. That segment was terrible.
Alrighty. It was funny because speaking of people being green, I was at this indie show and I was watching this guy and I sent Casey this Snapchat. I was like, this dude is more green than Raquel, because I just started. I was like, bro, it was so freaking hilarious. I was watching this man and I was like, bro, this dude is greener than Raquel, bro. But anyway, Casey, you got any thoughts?
We going to get to Raquel. Oh God.
Oh my God.
But anyway,
Wow.
First of all, DJ, look into my eyes. I'm gonna correct you real quick, if you don't mind. MKB is Maria Kanellis Bennett. Boy, get that right too. But anyway, this segment confused me a little bit because at first I was like, okay, they're gonna send Dixie away for a week. Please God, don't bring her back as heel Dixie. I can't handle face Dixie, but I don't want to deal with heel Dixie again. I don't want to do that. Just stop it. Stop it. But I feel like they are gonna try to, have her away for a week and then, maybe start to join, Billy with Mike and Maria and kind of. But I don't know. That would be, doing a Billy Corgan heel turn, and he's green as it is.
Exactly.
I just can't see him. I mean, Mike and Maria can kind of help a little bit on the mic, but he's got to have that. He's got to have at least a little bit of comfort to even start to think about a heel turn. You have to have a certain amount of confidence to be a heel. You can't just jump in there and say, okay, I'm going to be a heel. That's not how it works.
Nah.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm going to hope that they do something good here and it works out, but I really hope they're not going with the way I think they're going to go with it. it's just not going to be good.
No. Terrible.
Alrighty, so next we had Eddie Edwards versus Mike Bennett for the X Division Championship, and I'm gonna give us to Rabbit and Casey really quick as I run to the bathroom.
What are you running that? You want to talk about this match?
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't really write too many notes about it, but I thought it was pretty good. You know, it kind of it felt really rushed and pushed and out of nowhere. I like at least to have, you know, at least a week notice for a title match, especially for a title that I feel like they're trying to bring back, you know, up to where it used to be. I feel like they're trying to build it back to relevance again. Not that it hasn't been. You know, it's not like the U.S. title in WWE where, you know, that thing is so far down the toilet. But I feel like they are trying to build it up more to where it used to be. But this just, it didn't make sense to me. I don't have a problem with Mike Bennett winning it. It just, I want, if there's going to be a title change, I want a little bit more, you know, advance to get me ready for it. I don't like when they surprise you with, you know, title changes all the time. And I feel like we've been getting a lot of surprise title changes in the past couple months, not only in TNA but WWE as well. But you know, it was a pretty good match. You know, just nothing really super special, but it wasn't horrible.
Yeah, I mean, X Division title. Sometimes they just like you got the option C, and sometimes they throw it up at night when you don't know. But the match itself, it was a good match though. It was especially when Eddie Edwards did that suicide dive outside. He's still doing some of the moves he was doing as a tag team too. But it was a good match though. Even though I don't like Miracle, but I when it's a good match, it's a good match. You know what I'm saying? So it was a good stiff match. But the fact that they gave Miracle the belt is just I can't. I I don't even know what to say about that, man. It's like, all right, Eddie Edwards himself. This was the perfect time for him in the X Division while main man hurt or having his baby or whatever he doing to be in the X Division. This was perfect. He had the belt and everything. All he had to do was line up DJZ, all these people, and get the feuding with all of them. You know what I'm saying? Just knock them all down and show his skills in the ring. Because in the ring, Eddie Edwards is a beast. So in the X Division, he fits in perfect. When most of them can fly around. He can fly around a little bit, but he can pound you. He can get the power in there too. So I think it's a mistake if they go on a route where Miracle holds the belt, then try to hold it for option C and all that. That's a mistake. I don't think that's a good move. I think Eddie Evans was the perfect person to have that belt and to carry the X Division for a good little bit. I think that was the perfect person. Whoever made the move to make him champion, that was the right move. Now whoever reversed that and said make Miracle need to be fired. I don't know what that was about, man. Eddie Evans should keep the belt. But it was a good match. I like the Hurricane Rana over top rope he did. It's like a lot of stuff he doing that from when he was tag teaming, but still, nice match though.
Yeah, I enjoyed this match. I thought it was a good match for what it was. Obviously, it was short to give Mike Bennett kind of the shady victory and kind of the victory where he's just doing whatever it takes to win, doing whatever it takes to be world champion, which is fine, which is scrappy and fine. I get that. But I don't know. I've always, and this has been my thought process on it for the last couple of years, especially, is I feel like we need. I don't know if we need option C to be canceled out. But I feel like it brings more importance to the X Division title if someone comes up and says, I'm not defending this X Division title. I'm not going to give up my X Division title because it's just as important as the world title. If they put that out there for us to kind of just nibble on for a little bit, like, all you got to do is say it a couple of times and we start to believe it. If they start talking about how I don't want to give up this title because this title built this company, and when people might think we're in a rebuild, but I want to be the one that rebuilds this company. And that's kind of my opinion on it. That's been my opinion for the past couple of years. So I would have rather seen even Eddie Edwards would have been fine, but I would have been fine with Trevor Lee having it and holding it, and then the Helms Dynasty saying, we are, the new faces of the X division, so we're going to keep this title instead of going for the world title. That's just my opinion. I'm kind of upset.
Eddie Edwards feuding with Trevor Lee would have been nice. That would have been a nice feud, those two. I would love to see those matches. See, I don't know, man. They took it off too early. It was too early.
Yeah, I know, because I know they were going with the whole option C thing. And in my opinion, I don't even think Mike Bennett's the person for it right now. Like they built him up good. Like he's been built up pretty well, as like this star and whatnot. But I don't think he's world championship material right now. Like he still needs a little bit more grooming. It felt like he just came in my opinion.
I think.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I feel like sort of kind of in wrestling in general, especially, the big companies, TNA, WWE, they've been doing this a lot where a big star comes to the company or a bigger star, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, came to NXT. Mike Bennett was, pretty big in Ring of Honor. He comes to TNA. They give them, the title within like the first couple months that they're there. I always, when I was growing up watching wrestling, you had to, work up over the years to get a title shot. You didn't just get it couple, months into your career. And I like a lot of the guys that are getting the titles. I love Samoa Joe. I love Finn Balor. I love Mike Bennett. But I feel like it's going to diminish the importance of the title if, this big star is being signed. So, we know they're going to get the title within the next couple months. It just kind of, especially for guys who have been there for a while, who are trying to build up to, earn that title. I think there needs to be more work into it.
So, okay. So what's our problem with Roman Reigns winning that title? Since he's been there for a while. But we wanted AJ Styles to win it. I'm just saying. Oh, my.
He sucks. He's horrible. But he's really a good dad. He's a good dad.
I don't care about him being a good dad. I just disagree with that.
But see, at first, what you had was people bringing the people out from the indies. It wasn't a whole bunch of just grabbing stars at first, because companies kept their own wrestlers at first. So they had their own place where they train their wrestlers, or they go in the indies and pull them up and give them a new character and stuff like that. And then you had the era where they went and brought wrestlers from other companies, like big stars, like when my man and them came from WWE and went to what's the name and did the NWO. See, that started that right there, that high price wrestler on the market right there. That began it right there. So now everybody want to buy the high price wrestler, bring them in, give them the belt. But before that, it was the person was given the character from the indies. So you didn't really know this person. You get to know him now as this character now. You see what I'm saying? It's different now. Now you know the wrestler coming from somewhere else. He was already a star. So that's what changed it a whole lot now.
Yeah, and I think too, a lot of times companies feel like bringing in that certain guy will bring more eyes to their company. For example, when TNA, in hindsight, we knew it was a bad idea. But in the situation, when TNA brought in Hulk Hogan, the goal was get more eyes on TNA. TNA's at their peak right now, and when was it, 2012? They were doing well, and they were thinking Hulk Hogan's a big name. Let's bring him in. Let's give it a try, and then it just we know what happened. But
I disagree a little. I disagree a little bit when you get the assumption that once they brought in Hogan, I'm gonna tell you, Hogan did a lot for them when he first came. They had a big press conference. This thing was on on news, MSNBC, CNN. When he first switched to it, that was huge for TNA. They ain't had no big news like that before. And then he made some moves in there, like the gut check. And some of those wrestlers still was long after he was gone, they kept some of those wrestlers. Like Samuel Shaw, he was in the gut check, stuff like that. They kept some of those wrestlers that came out of gut check. So some of those moves he made, man, he the one made the option C. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of things he had on his mind that he wanted to make. I saw that he had a vision, but then he just ain't want to follow all the way through with it. That's his problem was. He ain't want to follow all the way through with it because he really wanted to go back to WWE. See, once you get somebody that's not really committed, he had good ideas, man. He had good ideas coming in. He brought eyes to the TV screen when he first came in. He did what he was supposed to do. To be honest with you, he got his money's worth, especially off the first year. But after that, they had him on there too long. They gave him too much power with what's the other clown name? Smirnoff, Bischoff.
Oh,
that
Bischoff.
Clown. That's what blew it. But Hogan himself, he had good intentions to make it better. I really believe that, man, because he really made good changes.
I agree because I thought bringing Hogan in, it did exactly what it was supposed to do. Bring eyes on the company, have him make some changes, some noticeable changes that needed to be made. Even the from the 6-sided ring to the 4-sided ring wasn't a bad change because it's better on the
like that. But you're right, yeah.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it either. But from what I've heard, the 6-sided ring is rougher on him, so he was looking out for the talent.
That's the only thing I didn't like. But he had a lot of good ideas, like the gut check. I like that. I wish they bring that back. Yeah, stuff like that is good.
Even as much as people hate to admit it, even Aces and Eights started out really good. Started out really good. It progressed decently, but it just didn't end well.
I feel like, first of all, with the Aces and Eights, yeah, it did start off good, but then they started demasking all of them way too quickly, and it was like, why do we care anymore?
You're right.
You know, but with not just with Hogan or Bischoff in general, I feel like when you're a smaller company, let's say just smaller than WWE, because all other companies are pretty much smaller than WWE, just because WWE is like the top whatever. I think, you know, you want to bring those big stars to your company to bring eyes and to bring, you know, new fans in, but I think there is a point where, you know, you can actually bring in a star who's too big, and that can hurt you too. You know, I think with Hogan and Bischoff too, you know, they wanted all this power, they wanted to do all this stuff, and it's like, okay, there's a point where, you know, you're helping the company, and then there's a point where you're taking over the company, and I think, you know, to an extent, it kind of started to blur that line a little bit, where it started to turn into their show, not, you know, Dixie's show or not Jeff Jarrett's show, and it was
exactly. Especially he had, like, when he started off the 3 hours, that was a good idea, but you don't put the Knox brothers on there for the 3 hours. See, that's the mistakes he had. He wanted to bring his people he knew he can count on. You feel what I'm saying? If he put people in big lights, man, you know, some of these people crumble. So with 3 hours going up against Raw, he wanted to make sure he had people in there he can count on. But Knox brothers was a bad choice, and they was the main thing on the 3 hours that day. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So if he had 3 hours, had some young wrestlers, new wrestlers come in, put the 6 sides of steel on that 3 hours, and let them go. Put the X Division title up, let it go right against Raw. But he bring in Knox, then him and Knox, and then arguing about stuff. Don't nobody care nothing about you and Knox. See, that's where he blew it at. The Knox brothers. But I want to just read you one more thing on the option C. I'm going to tell you why that's real important. Because when you have somebody like Spud, for example, it is no way on God's green earth that he'll have a title shot here or in WWE in his life if it wasn't no such thing as option C. It wouldn't be no way in hell he'll get a title shot. Even if he was in the Battle Royal, he won't be that last one in there. You know? So option C is really important for people like us that watch wrestling more than the average person that know, hey man, this person needs a shot. He good, you know what I'm saying? And that person can only get a shot through the option C. Like Spud worked hard for 2 straight years. So when he got that shot, ain't nobody was like, man, what he doing here? You know? He earned it. He got the option C. let him go. You know what I'm saying? But if you stick somebody in there out of the blue, like, oh, let's give him a shot, and there was no way why he there, that's a problem. You see what I'm saying? So when you got option C, you got a chance to put people in there that the fans like. What about the blue fans start liking somebody? You say, okay, let's get him the X Division title. He can sneak through the back door and get the title. But if you bring somebody in off the streets and just give him the title, you won't get a backlash. You see what I'm saying? If you can get them through a certain way, like option C, you can stick them through that. People will say, okay, well, he won the X Division title. Hey, he got the option C, so he deserved the title. Then if you say, all right, I want to keep this title because this is the X Division, then you diluting the championship itself. Once you get to the point where you have a shot at a title, the heavyweight title, you got to get that up. So you can't stop and say, oh, I want to keep this X Division because it started TNA. Then what about the heavyweight title? That's the main thing. You should want that. So you can't say, oh, some slam on brakes here, right when I'm at the finish line to get the heavyweight title, which is the main thing everybody wants. You see what I'm saying? So you can't just stop and say, nah, the title, this X Division is more important. This started TNA. No, you want the heavyweight title because that blows the company and you up. The X Division title won't do that. So to me, the X Division title, that's the most important angle in professional wrestling today, yeah, because it gives the wrestlers that's at the bottom a chance at the title, and it won't be a rigged way to do it. You know what I'm saying? It won't be the powers that be coming down and say, I like this person, that put him in it. You know what I'm saying? Where the crowd is like, well, man, he's like Roman Reigns. Like, what is he doing here? That type stuff. If you had a way where he worked his way up and you watched him in some matches in the X Division title and won it, then you'd be like, oh, yeah, he earned it, man. I might don't like him, but then he beat this person. He beat that person. You know what I'm saying? He won the title. He got the option C to take a shot. You know what I'm saying? You need that option C. I like that. It's real important for wrestling and for people that work hard that you don't get a chance to know. That way you always had the same champions. Like Hulk Hogan always was the champion. Ric Flair always was the champion. Because there was no way to get somebody else a chance to sneak in there because these people dominated the screen. You know what I'm saying? So you had no way to get nobody in unless they in the angle with Hogan or in the angle with Ric Flair. You feel what I'm saying? There's no way they can get the title. Years ago past, we won't get a chance. So I think the option C is, whoever thought of that, Hogan, whoever did that, that was real smart for the underdog wrestler.
All right, Casey, you had something to say?
A lot of things now. But no, first of all, I was thinking back to kind of the Hogan thing. You know, I know there was a lot of good things that he did do, but at the same time, I felt like a lot of the changes that he was making almost made TNA just kind of blend in with other companies, which was kind of an issue because when you think about it, when TNA started, it was different. That's why, you know, when they went to the six-sided ring, it was different. When, you know, the Ultimate X match was different. You know, they had so many different things, and it made them something apart from, you know, WWE, WCW, whatever. It made them their own thing. And then when you kind of just, okay, we're going to go back to the six-sided ring. Okay, we're going to, you know, make a lot more lights and stuff and make it flashy, you know, just like WWE, blah, blah, blah. It kind of killed it a little bit for me. I liked, that's part of what I liked about the Asylum days. You know, it wasn't flashy, and it was kind of, it felt kind of, gritty. Yeah, gritty, yeah. Sort of indie-ish.
Yeah.
But then on to kind of the X Division versus the world title. Unfortunately, it's never going to get back to this, you know, but I feel like there was a point in TNA where both of those titles had, I don't want to say the same amount of importance because, you know, the World Heavyweight title is always, you know, the top title, but the X Division was right up there, you know what I mean? You know, that was back when, you know, you could be, you know, the Triple Crown winner, whatever, and, you know, win all three of the major titles that they had. You know, that's when it kind of, all the titles felt important. And again, with WWE, it was the same too. There was a time when all the titles felt important. But I think that's part of what kind of kills those mid card titles. You kind of do need to build those up too, because it's kind of like, what's the point of having them if they're not going to be important to a point. I mean, I always grew up, uh, maybe I was the weird kid, but I always grew up dreaming of, becoming a tag team champion or becoming, the Intercontinental champion or something like that. I didn't necessarily, want to be, the the WWE champion or the World Heavyweight champion growing up. And there are people who, like the mid card titles more.
Right. I always want to be a TV champion. So
Yeah.
you're right. I always like that belt in WCW TV titles, right?
So I mean, I think, I hope it gets back to a point where mid card titles are as important as they used to be. Unfortunately, that probably won't happen just because it's how wrestling has evolved to now. World Heavyweight title is the only important title. Oh, we have those titles, but we don't really care about them. We're gonna pretend we care about them, but we don't. I feel like that's kind of what it's gone to, and it's depressing in a way.
All right. So moving on, we go to the Robbie E segment. Yeah, that was rant. Yeah. We go to the Robbie E segment, where he's like, let me see what Jesse got in the bag here. I don't know why, but let me see what Jesse got in the bag here. I think he was looking for, like, when you need a piece of gum, when you need a piece of gum. And he was looking for the gum. I think that's what it was. And he found the iPad that's got the cameras and whatnot on it. He realized, won't nothing here, won't nothing there. He looked at our set. He was like, nothing going on here tonight. And then he found Raquel and Robbie, and actually you can hear them as well. And he he found them trying to, doing something, talking about something, doing some sort of something behind Robbie's back. And I don't know how to feel about this. It was funny, kinda, but then I was just kind of like, why? But why would they be standing at a point where he could? And what? But what's going on though? I'm just so confused. But yes, Katie.
There was a whole bunch of issues with this segment. First of all, there's security issues. Who gave Goddard's, access to these cameras, to these security feeds? He clearly hacked into some sort of security feed. I don't.
It was Solomon Crow, actually.
Oh, that makes sense. And I don't know about you, but most of the security cameras that I've ever seen don't usually have audio. So how do we hear them when they know? I mean, maybe TNA has.
I think it's one of those things, because if we're talking Big Brother After Dark, they have mics on, so maybe they had mics on. That's what I'm thinking.
That makes sense. I don't know. This was one of those segments that was forced to push, tension between a tag team. They were like, we could go for an organic feud, but nah. Let's push this. Let's push this as hard as we can. Oh, and let's promote another show while we're at it, because that's what we have to do. We have to promote other shows. If we have time, we'll promote ourselves too, but we have to promote these other shows.
All right, Rabbit, any thoughts on this segment?
No.
I agree. Same.
Real bad. She's trash. Real bad.
Next, we had Braxton Sutter versus Shark Boy. Oh,
I'm not done.
Oh,
She's real bad. Real bad. Okay, I'm done.
We had Braxton Sutter versus Shark Boy. No, I thought at first, from the side, I thought it was Shark Boy. His name was like Balloon or something. Like, I don't even know. Ballum or something like that. And then freaking Rockstar Spud come out here cutting some heel gold. That man came out and threw him out of his ring. He was like, "Get out of my ring," and then he starts talking to Braxton Sutter. Rockstar Spud, as a heel, is absolute gold. He needs to talk as much as possible. We didn't see this as much when he was a face, but as a heel, oh, the man is golden. Like he might, he got something in him. I like it. I want to see more from this, and I hope they actually, this actually becomes a feud. From what I heard, Rockstar Spud got hurt at one of the tapings though, so I don't know how long this is gonna last. Um, I know, right? But I'm hoping even if he does get hurt, they can still keep the feud going when you're hurt. I don't know why wrestling companies don't do that anymore. You can still keep the feud going when someone's hurt. Do some backstage segments or something. Do something with it. But wrestling companies just don't do that anymore because let's not go outside of the ring. But I thought the match was pretty good. He basically just took Balloon or Shark Boy. I'm gonna go Shark Boy. He took Shark Boy's place, and I love the kick in the corner by Braxton Sutter. I just love it. I'm like in love with that kick. It sounds good. It looks good. Then it hits him with the flatliner to win the match. But this was a pretty back and forth match, and I'm hoping they continue this because I'm liking Rockstar Spud as a heel. And it's a good like upstart feud for Braxton Sutter because he's facing a former, I think, 2-time X Division champion if I'm not mistaken. So that's pretty freaking cool. I'm definitely liking this, and it's Pepper Potts, man. Pepper Potts. So I get excited when I see Pepper Potts. Anyway, Rabbit, any thoughts on Braxton Sutter versus Rockstar Spud or Rockstar Spud as a heel?
I don't even know who Braxton Stutter was. I don't know who that. But yeah, you're right. That kick in the corner was nice. But I think ever since Spud, before that, Spud to me was the most improved wrestler in 2015. Period. The man got wrestling down pat. He got the mic work. He got the motions. He know how to do the motions with the strikes. He know how to do the like one match he had when Main Man raked his teeth with his chain. I swear to God, that whole rest of that match he kept doing like that. With his teeth, the whole match just pulled with his teeth. It was so funny because most wrestlers forget all about it 2 minutes later. You feel me? The rest of the match, it was like 10 more minutes left. He was still doing like that means that he know. You gotta know that stuff like that in wrestling. Somebody rake a chain across your tooth. There's no way it stop hurting that quick. You know what I'm saying? So for him to keep doing it all the way to the end of the match, that was cool. He know wrestling. I like watching him too. But I don't like the fact he lost to the Main Man. But I like the fact that they got him going so far heel that it's going to take him somewhere he never been. And so by him sitting back watching all these people going heel like Bubba Ray and all these people in front of him going heel, he know what to do. So once he really go all full out with a storyline and everything, I think he's going to be nice. Nice. I like him, though. I like Spud.
Yeah, I agree. I think this could be a really cool like role reversal type of feud. If he went back up and faced EC3 again, just because I think that would be kind of cool to see those roles reversed because EC3 was the prick in the feud before, but now Spud can kind of turn the tables on him a little bit. I think that would be kind of cool. And now EC3 doesn't have the streak, as like the thing that like keeps Spud from winning too. But anyway,
he lost all his teeth or something, so he's probably still gonna wrestle with no teeth.
Yeah. All right, Casey. Any thoughts on Rockstar Spud versus Braxton Sutter?
Well, first of all, I also legitimately thought that was like an upgraded version of Shark Boy for a second. I was like, what? It looked like him, but I agree. I like Rockstar Spud's selling. He knows how to do it, and he knows how to sell throughout a match, but not oversell and not undersell. Because that's something that a lot of guys just cannot get down. They either oversell way too much, or they John Cena it and don't sell at all. But he does it perfectly. I love it. I also liked how he destroyed that BS Braxton Sutter. Because he needed to learn. He needed to learn that you do not charge me. Because I I'm Spud's boy. You know, we tight. He was like, yo, you don't charge my boy $5 for a picture when the other guys didn't charge me. Guys who are more famous than you didn't charge me. Zima Ion didn't charge me $5. That was free. That was free. I'm just saying. But yeah, I liked it. I like that. Maybe they're hopefully giving Spud kind of a push here, a heel push, which I like. Only thing I don't like about it is I think DJ would agree with me on this. I miss the Spud suits.
Okay. Okay. I could say that.
I miss them so much.
I got to agree with you on that one.
Because you know what's BS? The fact that I've been working my butt off for 2 years and they're giving this man my TV. Good. I was like, bruh. I was like, this man speaking the truth right now. I just liked it. And I like how he played off the BS thing because they are trying to play off of that. So God, Spud, man. Spud making me happy. But anyway, we got a little video package on the fact that Sienna will be facing Gail Kim next week. I'm not sure if the title's on the line or not. And we got a video package on Sienna herself, which I felt like made her seem more intimidating, just the way the clips were put together. I just kind of liked it put together with her music and whatnot. I really liked it. Any thoughts on Gail Kim versus Sienna coming up next week, or that video package in general? Casey obviously has no thoughts. Rabbit.
Yeah, the fact that I missed the Slamversary show with y'all, I do want to recognize the fact that Gail Kim was going to be in Hall of Fame, and she was about to cry that day when Dixie Carter told her that. I was like, she ain't know or something. I don't know. She did act surprised a little bit, but I think it was time for her to be in Hall of Fame, though. You really couldn't put nobody else in there but her, for real. You couldn't skip over her. You almost had to put her in there, because right now she best women's wrestler out on the planet. So, and you got her on your roster. She been there for about 8 years. Don't do it. On the planet.
My girl Oscar though, I can't stay away. I've been saying she the best in the world. I've been saying this for so long, and I'm sorry. I love that girl.
Who?
First of all, I have to agree with the Hall of Fame. I feel like it had to, for a fan's perspective, it had to be, for a TNA original fan's perspective, it had to be her, or they had to bring somebody back. Because if you look, the first few that they've done was Sting, who was somebody they brought in, wasn't an original. Kurt Angle brought in, wasn't original. I love them, but still, they weren't originals. And then Jeff Jarrett, who is an original, but he was the original owner, so that's kind of... I want to see more, guys that built up the company. At least, the guys that aren't under contract with WWE, bring some of those guys back, at least for, like, one show to put them into the Hall of Fame.
Christopher Daniels, do it.
I mean, no. Yeah. But
him, AJ Styles, and they all blocked me. They all blocked me on Twitter. Him, AJ, they all blocked me. When they left TNA, they had sent me Kazarian sent me a little message on, so because I was on I sent out a message saying all of them was pussies, right? All of them sent me messages, right? I'm like, what the fuck? Frank Kazarian told me, well, I ain't leave. They let me go, or something he was talking about, or Dixie let me go, or some stuff, and then blocked me. So I couldn't respond to none of them because they sent messages and then blocked me. So I'm like, what the fuck? How you gonna send me a message and then I can't respond to you? You know what I'm saying? That was so crazy. But AJ Styles was the one they wanted to come back and put in the Hall of Fame. That was the one they wanted, but he didn't sign the contract when they asked him to come back. That's the problem. That's who they wanted. That would have been on the one. And I think Jeff Jarrett, you got to put Sting in there, and you had to put. I mean, everybody got in there. You had to put in there. They've been there for like 10 years apiece. So the bulk of the time you've been a business, they've been there. So it's kind of hard not to put a gold medalist in your Hall of Fame. You know? Now the Dudley boys, That's the only one that's iffy. But they was there 10 years too. So
But do you
hey,
know who I am? I mean,
and yeah, and that's another person that Hulk Hogan switched him bad, switched Bobby Roode bad. There was good moves right there. Bobby Roode went through the roof after Hogan switched him bad. So I'm gonna start bringing up all the good things that Hogan did from now on. Just point them out. Amen. You know, because Bobby Roode ain't even want to turn bad at first. He had to convince him, and it was a good move.
it was. All right. So next we got the main event of the evening. We got Brother Nero going up against Brother Moore.
The
6 rounds
Nero.
still. Bruh, I'm telling you, Matt Hardy, he gonna have to stop coming out with that keyboard and that theme music, man. That good. Oh my, I love this man. I really do. I love Matt Hardy. I ain't never loved Matt Hardy this much in my life. And then he have Rebby come out there. Whew. He have her come out there, and then to make it even worse, to make it even more heelish, he got a little Maxwell on the back of the. Oh, come on, man. Lil Max will get me every time, man. Lil Max will get me every time. And to make it even more heelish, like he makes it to the fact that like he's still a good dad, but but he just carries his baby around like that. I don't know. I just really like that. But Casey, I'm gonna let you go first on the main event of the evening. I mean, who are you going with, Brother Nero or Brother Mo?
I mean, you got to go with Brother Nero, but I like this match. I like, that they did a six sides of steel match. Like I said, I like what they're doing with this feud. And it kind of goes with what I always say with feuds, especially with guys who either are related, in this case they're brothers, or guys who have known each other for a long time. You can do a lot more spots together. They obviously trust each other enough that they'll do these crazy spots that maybe somebody else would say, okay, I don't know if I want to do that. Matt and Jeff will they'll do whatever. Because they trust each other. They know they have that sort of natural chemistry. But my favorite part of this entire match was the end with the best pin I have ever seen. Jeff comes off the top onto the tables, then all of a sudden just like freaking leaps over onto Matt for the pin. I was like, best pin ever. It was perfect.
Freaking, I enjoyed this match. I thought it was really good. And I love watching these two work together because obviously they're gonna, Jeff's gonna do anything to like at least make your jaw drop if nothing else. Um, I thought it was cool that Jeff brought in the weapons. I was like, is this Lethal Lockdown? I was like, okay. I was like, Jeff brought in the weapons. I just thought that was really cool. And it just happened to be a table, a table, ladders, and chairs. You know what I mean? I just thought that was kind of cool little storytelling there. From like, all the history they've had in TLC and stuff like that. I just thought that was kind of cool. Um, I I love that Jeff Hardy started the match off with the double sledge. The powerbomb into the cage was epic by Matt Hardy. Um, Jeff, I mean, I get it. Sometimes, your brother, he being mean, saying you just got to hit him with that low blow real quick. Like, I get it. Like, you got to get that advantage back. But, Jeff, you need to calm down, bro. You're going to have to calm down a little bit. That was a little too much on the low blows. He was not playing around with the low blows.
Being special. Get it right.
Yeah, right in the ding ding. And then it was, Matt was taking, all the punishment he could, including the twist of fates. And then Jeff just uses the ladder to get up to the top of the cage, and then jumps on top of Matt Hardy with a table on top of him and a table on the bottom of him, and then chairs on top of him too. And I just thought that was freaking just a unique spot. and Jeff Hardy landed like on his head. I was like, he's dead. It's over. Matt Hardy's gonna turn over and just win. But I enjoyed this match. Jeff did get the win. I'm kind of wondering. I was hoping Matt Hardy would win just because I'm like in love with that man right now. If you haven't yet, you gotta go see Maxwell get his first win. You gotta see it. Oh, it's so adorable on Rebby Sky's Instagram page. You gotta see it. It's freaking. Oh, it's the best thing ever. But I'm really enjoying Matt Hardy right now. I don't know if I kind of want him to keep this broken Matt Hardy or what, because I love the I love it. Like, I'm gonna say it anytime I get a chance to say it, baby. I love the iconic Matt Hardy. I do. But I'm hoping that I kind of want to see if Matt continues to spiral out of control, what will happen too. It kind of has that double effect. And if are they going to keep this going to where Jeff is either forced to be broken or forced to bring out Willow? Like, is this going to keep going or no? I'm kind of curious because I'm wondering what they're going to do with these guys now. Because oh man, I love Willow too. Willow is like my favorite. Like Willow, oh man, Willow be having me like he having me cracking up with the accent and everything. You have your issues, Samoa Joe. Oh man, going back to oh, I love it. Anyway, Rabbit, any thoughts on Six Sides of Steel?
Yeah, I like that match, man. But especially when it first started off, my man came flying in the gate with the double arm joints. My man was just coming in the joint, came flying off on top of him. She was funny. But I like Brother Nero, not Brother Nero. I love my man new get up, man. I like his whole thing that he done switched into. I like this way he changed a little beard in his hair. I love all that. I love the way they feud. They show you how wrestling should be feuded in a cage match, and you know how they do. That's what they do. They do carnage. That's their thing. So they show you how to do that in a feud. But the only thing I don't like is I don't want them to keep feuding because it takes the realistic out of it. When you watch a wrestler, you want to be believing that some of this is happening. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at it as realistic, right? When you see two brothers out there, that's going out the window because they're not actually trying to hurt nobody. You feel me? So when you see these two, it takes away from my man. He could be more vicious if it was somebody else. When he changed it to this beard and all that, if it was somebody else, he could be more over the top with that, set him on fire or something. You know what I'm saying? He'd go that route because it's not his brother. You know what I'm saying? So I want to see him just cut this off, finish that right there, and let him go off the rectors, off the scales with this character. But he can't do it with his brother because it takes away from, everybody sitting there like these. Everybody know them as the Hardy Brothers. You know what I'm saying? And so you see them there in this cage match. You thinking this is a good match, but you're not gonna see nobody try to actually hurt anybody. You feel me? If you put him in there with somebody different, where he just go all out. I got my man setting things on fire. I got my man really going over top. That will bring Willow out too. You see what I'm saying? To stop this man from the carnage he's laying out through TNA. You feel me? That'll bring Willow out. Something like that, or hurt him, or hurt Hardy to the point where he out and Willow come back out. But I like the character, but these two can't continue because it takes the gas out of it. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same umph in it when you see these two together going at each other. It's not the same. You're looking at it like, all right, yeah, he ain't really trying. But you see him with somebody else, you don't know if he really hit him with that pole or not. You know what I'm saying? So that you want to see that, but you won't get that with these two.
I think it wouldn't be right if I didn't ask you this question. Now, give me your thoughts on the Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy vignette that broke the freaking internet. I have to know. I have to know your thoughts on the vignette where they were at the Hardy estate.
Came up behind him. We were sitting down. What they was doing?
It was the contract signing from a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
What'd you think of that? What was it as bad as people say it was?
Nah, but see, that's what I tell you. When you got those two going at each other, you're looking at small stuff like that because they brothers. They used to them being together. So when you see them slam through a table or something, you looking at the faults now. You're looking at, see, that ain't even look right. You see what I'm saying? Because you're not getting that same feel. You know what I'm saying? That you'll get from two people that don't like each other. The feud, the build up, they can't stand each other. But you know, in the end, these two brothers, you feel me? So it won't be the same feeling. You won't get the same feeling by watching it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only problem I got with the whole thing. Let these two split up, because both of them separate. Like if my man turning Willow, that's separate on his own nice. Then my man by himself, wherever he done fell into with the beard and all that, he gonna be nice doing whatever he doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think they should be doing. Split those two up. But them two together, I just don't like that. In a feud.
All right, all right. Definitely a good. I enjoyed this. This TNA show had its weird points, like Robbie E doing what Robbie E. Had its weird points, but I definitely enjoyed. I enjoyed the show. I thought it was a solid show. I don't know if it was good as last week.
I'm glad those two back though.
Yeah.
Robbie, my man.
Oh yeah. But this was your TNA review for 6/21/2016. If you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give us a like and whatnot. Go subscribe to Rabbit Jones on YouTube as well. He does some TNA talk. He said they're coming back. He said finally Rabbit Jones is coming back to YouTube. He told me. He confirmed it. So be sure to go check him out too. That's about it. That's all I got. We got NXT coming up very, very soon. I don't know if tonight or tomorrow. I don't know. We'll figure it out and we'll let you know. But we'll see you guys
tonight because we got the Cruiserweight Classic tomorrow.
Oh, darn. All right. I guess it'll be tonight. I guess. All right. Cool. We'll see you guys later.